Hello, I actually just recorded this video, but the sound wasn't on, so hopefully I'll get it right this time. So right here I have this model I created for, my intention is to do some, I'm doing some dimension strategy stuff, and I wanted to record it for my own reasons as well. There's some stuff I need to brush up on myself that I'm going to try and go back through in videos, and I'll record them for myself. And if anybody else wants to watch them, they can too. So right now I'm going to do some work on cross sections before I do isometrics on drones, and before I do dimension strategies. So generally in a model, if we go to the top, the intention, I believe, I don't, honestly, I haven't looked into it in years because I always model from the bottom to the top, from the left to the right, to try and have things come out properly in NC files. I'm not sure if that really matters, but it probably does, right? Because the machine is not gonna, it's gonna need to know where the start and the end of the beam is, right? So for now, we'll assume we still need to do this. So if I come to have a look at this, I know that I started from here this way, and I started from here this way. So my start point is, your start point should be at 0, 0 or close to it, and move right and up. So that is the intention. So right now there's two ways to check these beams. If I come in here to the UCS and I check this one here with the question mark, and I click on this, you can see here this is telling me this is the start of the beam. If I hit it again, that's the start of the beam there. Now these beams were created by drawing this beam over to here somewhere. Then I extended it to the column, and then I split it in the middle. That is how I create beams. I'm sure some people will disagree with me and they'll do them a different way. That is how I like to do them, so I know that they're snapping correctly. I'll actually show you what I mean. So if I copy this over here, 20 feet. Okay, so this column has some holes in it, which we don't really need because we just copied it. It also has a feature on the bottom, but we won't worry about that for now. So if I copy this over here, I'm going to copy this 20 feet, 20 feet. So 20 and 40. And if I want to draw a beam here, what I do to draw the beam is I come in here and I will go to the node point. So I'm not risking snapping to something else. I come over here. You can see down here that I use my polar tracking so that it's going to snap in to the right angle. So it's 90 degrees, and I'll just click that there. So I know that beam is running level. It's not running off. Now it's not running to where I want it to run to right now. So what I do is I come in and use one of my custom commands to extend the system line. I select the column, select the beam. Now that's select that. Now that's extended. And then I'll come in here and then I'll split that. And then I'll copy that if there's similar locations. So that's how I create my beams and columns. So I'm going to delete these. So the other way we can just draw a beam. Let's say we draw a beam from the bottom to the top, and then from the top to the bottom, and then from the left to the right, and the right to the left, and then we'll do a beam but standing on its end. So we'll do one from the bottom up and then from the top down. So if we go back to this, if we go back here and check this again, zoom view, sorry, not that one, this one. So if I click on this, if I click here, you can see it was created. This was the end of the beam. That was the end of the beam. That is correct. This one was the end of the beam. Yes. The one below it is the opposite. Yes. And this one was created from the bottom up, and this one was created from the top down. All right. Now the other way of checking these is if I come in here and select this, you can either do the assembly or the single part cross section, and you can see that this is the start point. So if I do the same with this, let me number these. I guess I can just number everything, right? So we can just number everything again. Numbering everything is better practice than just selecting stuff and numbering them. Now you can just select these and number everything is probably fine because these are not going to be the same as these other beams, but generally numbering everything together is better. So if I select this and I do show a single part or show assembly, you can see that is the start point. This one over here was on the left hand side, I believe. Yeah, left to right. Yeah, this one was from bottom to top, and this one was from top to bottom. Top to bottom. All right, so you get the idea. So that'll show you what way your beams were drawn. If you're not sure, I would say just try to always model from the bottom up and the left to the right. Even now, probably just good to keep it accurate. So I'll give a little preview of the next video. So I created this model for the next video. So next video is going to be dealing with, I'm going to start dealing with putting isometrics on drawings and then also using the environment for drawings. So we can see if I go, if we can just see one of these that I did yesterday. Uh, no, this one wasn't created right. Maybe it was the second one. Let's check the second one. So my drawing styles are kind of all over the place right now because I've been playing around with it a little bit. So this one here, you can see it includes the environment of the two beams that connect. So when you print it out, once you have your plot set properly, your colors, let me see, I guess that's already plotted out. You can see there, some people do require this, maybe if it's a moment connection. So I'm looking into that a little bit. And then the next video will be on putting isometrics on drawings. So basically, I've already set it up in here. If I go in here into my assembly, you can see down here in my detailed style map, I am directing the beams to 5 beam ADM. So if I go back into my drawing style, you can see, now I'll go through this. I've done a video on this previously. I'm just trying to brush up on it myself. You can see my 5 beam ADM includes an extra view. It's a 3D view without labels. Now it says it's without labels, but I do have a label in there, so I should really rename this. It's just I play around with my drawing styles a lot. So what we're going to do is we'll output one now just to give you a preview. So I'll just pick this one. So right now, when you output these, it's going to be based on your UCS. So if we try and pick a good angle where we'll be happy with the isometric of a column, we'll be happy with the isometric of all the beams or most of the beams, then you can select them all and output them. For now, I'll just output one, but first we're going to look in through the UCS so we can see that is set. We're going to pick this beam, and the problem is my scale is not set properly now, so we'll just see what we get from the output. I have to fix the scale. So if I show you this, so I have my system set right now to allow me to plot multiple parts, uh, multiple of the same part, sorry. So we can see the bolts here are offset, that's fine. So this here is my view. I need to work on this, right? Because I need to, maybe just have the number here, maybe have a leader line, get rid of the shop bolts. These shop bolts, we need to get rid of these. So this view is gonna be 3/8 to 1, which is good. I like that size. This beam doesn't look too bad at 1.5 is to 1, but generally I back those down to 1 inch is to 1 foot, but that looks okay. So the idea is you can output your drawings, obviously not on huge, large jobs, you can, but before I would add an isometric afterwards, but it makes sense now to just set your drawing up in a way where you could be fairly happy with the output of the isometrics for them all. And then it's just a matter of, you're probably going to have two different drawing processes for the beams and the columns, so you can just select similar for the beams or use a query, select all those, and then just output those. Now, right now, the beams should all come out with an isometric, so we'll just randomly pick one of them. We'll pick this one here in the middle, and I'm kind of rolling two videos into one here, I guess, but I'll do this more in depth in the next video. So it's taking a little longer because it's doing the isometric. It's usually a little faster than this. So right now I have the beam drawn set up with the isometric. I do not have the column drawn set up with the isometric. So I won't output the column drawings. Maybe in the next video we'll go through the process of setting that up, putting the isometric onto the column drawn. So you can see it might also take a little longer because it's it's doing another step, but it's a different size scale and it's isometric. But it's definitely quicker than doing it individually for each drawing. So right now, if I select this, show assembly detail, it also takes a second longer to open, which is interesting. All right, so we can see what we've got here. Again, the scale is the issue. So I need to go into the drawing and change the scale of all these. So if I even just do it now, let's see how it works. Also, I have a system line there I don't want on that. So if we come in here, idiom beam front, action, properties. So we'll change this to 1:1, 1:1. So you have to change them all. Now, your name might also include the scale. Mine doesn't. So you'd have to maybe rename it or create a new one. And then I'll go back to 3:1:good, apply, use, and it should apply that to this. Now I'll want to go back in and turn off this system line. That shouldn't be on either. But this is actually not the drawing style I use because you can see it's not picking up those points. So there's 1:1. So, quickly we just move these to one side probably. Put your name over here. Move it down a little bit. And then you move check your labels and move this over. And there you go. So not too bad. You may want to change the presentation also of the attached beams to be visible exact. We'll do that in the next video. These bolts need to go, so there are a couple of things I'll clean up in the next video. But I hope that helps anyone, and the intention would also be to cover this environment because it may be useful for a couple of columns for a job if you have moment connections. So, all right, take care.